Okay, so today I thought we'd take a look at one of my best friend's swing. It's not somebody who I teach. On the left hand side, this is Mark Walton. He's a one or two handicapper. Has been that low ever since we were kids. It's an interesting swing because if you'd have asked me maybe 6 or 7 years ago if his swing was textbook, I would have said no, he probably does everything incorrectly, as most pros would probably say if they looked at his swing. But ever since I've been looking more and more into the elite swings and guys that have been given elite status by my peers, the guys that I work with, Lucas Wilde and Calvin Miyahura, you can just see how good his swing is. He's got just a couple of things missing, but in general, it really is good. He has clubhead speed that is very high into the 120s, maybe even touching 130s sometimes. Ball speed could be well over 170. So, super long hitter. I've seen him hit wedges into par fives. Doesn't play that much now. Got a young family, but we can have a good look at his swing, and you will see how similar it is to Jamie Sedlowski's over on the right hand side. Now, people who think Jamie Sedlowski is not a good model to use for teaching, they're completely wrong. He is Remax long drive champion. He's very straight. He's actually making cuts on the web.com this year in 2015, so he can play. He has got game, and obviously if he's got power, it's a huge asset. Especially in the pro game, that's where it's going. Not massively in the amateur game, I would say at the moment, but if power hitting is where the top of the game's going, eventually it will filter down into the amateur level. And if you're long and pretty straight, it's a huge weapon, probably the biggest. So let's have a look at his swing. So I'll just play it through on the left hand side. You can have a good look at it. Very long swing, okay, and like I say, tons of power. Obviously a very strong athletic guy, works out. So let's have a look at it. So from setup, so we've got, obviously you can see super strong grip. Again, when I was younger, and very much so when I was growing up, I thought his grip was wrong, and until you look at now on tour, 80% of the guys have strong to excessively strong grips. There's out the guys that grip it excessively strong, absolutely none of them flip the golf club, so they're all drive holders and driving the club through. So if you look at that statistically, it's a definite reason why you'd want a strong to excessively strong grip. I say none of those guys flip it. Nice and wide in setup, ball position in a great position here, head behind the ball, all those things are absolutely great for hitting long drives. His bad shots, I would say, are probably that he tends to thin it and gets a few hooky, turns a few over. Now, straight away, guys would look at his grip and say the reason that he hooks it is because of his grip, and that's dead wrong, absolutely dead wrong. He hits it, I've seen him play, and he hits it absolutely wonderfully straight. If he hooks it, it's definitely not because of his grip. Like I say, there's many guys that have had excessively strong grips, and they don't hook the ball. So, in my opinion, they're looking in the wrong area. Just easy. It's kind of easy coaching that, just because obviously it's the most basic thing you can see. But if we look at his backswing, so we're going to swing up to the top. You can see nice up move here, nice bit of spine extension. Looks like he's going to upload his weight onto his right hand side. Obviously huge shoulder turn, and obviously you can see the spine extension here. Lovely curve in the spine. This reverse question mark looking position here. Possibly could get the left arm a little bit straighter than it is here, just it's a little bit bent. We look at those same movements in Jamie. You can see there's the upload and the start of the spine extending and the weight onto the right hand side. You see the right hip really internally rotated at the top. So I'm just going to freeze him at the top here. So you see the right hip internally rotated, weight on the right hand side, Left arm is better in Jamie, obviously, than Mark here. This could be a little bit straighter. Now, let's have a look at the downswings. This is where I think what separates Jamie from Mark. So, Mark was always told when he was a young kid, that because of his grip, that if he didn't slide in front of the ball and kind of hold it off, he would forever hit it way off to the left-hand side. So if you kind of take that preconception and look at what he does, you can see how it's kind of developed into his swing. Now, in the downswing, if we're just looking at the lower body, what we're really looking for is a push and pull system. So the right hip is going to hold its position, and the right leg is going to hold its externally rotated position. And this will push the right hip this way. It will push it forward. And if you think about it on the other side, it will cause the complete opposite, which will involve the left hip going this way, back and behind the player, creating a huge amount of rotation, which is going to keep the hands and arms fairly quiet, and means that the body is going to be driving the swing. But obviously, because it's what he was told when he was a youngster, what you'll see is quite a big push off his right leg. So you'll see the right leg fire internally very quickly. Left hip joint gets very much over the left ankle joint way too early. So you can see left hip now here is way over the left ankle joint. And all that happens is Mark just continues to slide. So once you push that far left, even in a supreme athlete, I would say Mark is, very strong guy, you can see how he just can't rotate. When you push this far into the left side, you can't use that firing system again, and it kind of it stops the left leg and the left knee extending backwards. So all that happens is it just stays very quiet, and then the arms have to provide all the power in order for him to hit it a long way, which is what he's trying to do. And this is what leads to the thins and the pushes. Is this real big push in his legs? It's not his grip. It's the incorrect movement in the lower body. You can see how far from this green line he's wandered. There's no left leg extension, and it's kind of basically the legs are breaking. They're stopping the pelvis from rotating, and this would make the swing very inside out as well. Obviously, great follow through, nothing wrong with that at the end. But you can see the turn in the lower body happens probably about here. This is where he turns his hips. So something that we could definitely do to help him. So if we go back into Jamie over here, we draw that same line down his right side, and this is where you'll see the difference. So as Jamie starts to move, you'll see the right foot come up onto its tiptoe. This is plantar flexion. You'll see the right knee hold its external position, this position here. And you'll never see it really wander from that green line. If you watch his belt buckle, you'll just see pure pelvic rotation. And at about this point here, you'll see the weight never gets anywhere near this left ankle joint here. The left hip joint, which is here, is already starting to retract back behind him, creating this huge amount of rotation here into impact. Enables a guy that is only 5'10" to be able to hit the ball 460 yards. He's not a big guy. So that means he has to be getting the most out of every bit of movement in his swing. So there you can see it. There's no slide in there. You can see if you watch the belt buckles, there's pure rotation in the pelvis. Left leg extending before he gets anywhere near impact. And so powerful is the pull in the left leg and left hip that obviously he's pulling the right foot off the ground. And if I freeze it there, and then we just go back to Mark, you can just see there's the slide, the drift into the left leg. Left leg will stay bent. if you're sliding like this, that's actually a very good thing, because if Mark was to extend his leg from here, he would end up with quite a big jump stall. So he stays bent, keeps it bent, but he misses a tremendous amount of rotational power in the lower half of the swing, which definitely contributes to his bad shots.